Hey there, it's me. I hope you didn't mind that long introduction. I'm in a pretty beautiful place again. I am a little upstream from where I usually record, by that waterfall. Um, that way is where it is. It's a little quieter here, a little bit more beautiful. Well, it's all beautiful, but it's, I guess, a bit more secluded. And I tried to give you lots of shots of the sorrel that's here, the wood sorrel, which is incidentally one of my favorite plants ever. It tastes good, by the way. I'll just show you again. I'm sorry, I was going to show you. There's a wild boar up here, so I'm going to hide. Be right back. Hey again, it's me. I'm alive. No boar attack. I got my backpack on just in case it comes back. Fortunately, I've got a pretty safe kind of route out, but I think it's okay. It sounds like it's moved on. Funny story, I just recorded about 10 minutes worth of video, and it turned out I had the video off, so I didn't actually record it at all. So I'm recording it again. I apologize for the strange kind of direction I'm sitting in. I'm balancing myself on a tree with the camera on another tree, and hopefully this one turns out, and hopefully the footage at the beginning kind of makes up for anything that isn't exactly perfect on this one. I love this place. So as I think I was trying to explain in that video that got cut off, this is a few feet, probably 100 feet from where I usually hang out. It's quieter, more water, and sitting on water, well, on a tree branch on water. And I've been thinking a lot about a forest I used to have. So if you've known me for a long time, if you've read my writing for a long time, you maybe already know about this. And if not, I'll tell you a story. 5 or 6 years ago, I lived in Seattle, and for 4 months, the place I lived in was half a block away from a forest. It was actually a park, an abandoned, completely disused, natural city park. No one had kept up on, no one walked through, most of the paths were all clogged, you couldn't get through. And it was in a weird place. It was in between powered generator lines, those really huge, massive electric lines. And under that was a gas pipeline, a gasoline pipeline actually, from a refinery. And then on the other side was a road, and then there was a school, but there was a fence around the school, so you couldn't get into the forest from that way. They had a gate, but they never opened it. And it was this beautiful place, completely abandoned, completely rewilding, as it were. And I found it by accident, because I would walk by this line of trees and always see this little opening. I always wondered, I wonder what's in there. And then so one time I walked through, and I found this forest. It's kind of like Narnia, or anything else like that. Like, you kind of walk through and you're in this much bigger place than you ever imagined. It looked tiny from the outside, but inside it was an entire world. And I would spend a lot of time there, pretty much every day for those 4 months after I found it. I started cleaning it, clearing out an old stream that wasn't running, because it was completely clogged with trash, mud, fallen limbs, etc. I would pull out invasive species, pull out lots of blackberry. A friend of mine ended up helping me. She gave me a lot of cedar saplings, so I planted those in, and then some snowberry, and some other, what do you call it? Not huckleberry, salmonberry, which is native to that place. She was a native gardener. And so I was in there for, sometimes I slept in there at night when it wasn't too cold. or after work when I'd come home, especially if I was kind of sad or depressed or lonely, I'd just go sit on a stump there, did magic there, thought there, cried there, laughed there. Forests are good like that. And fun story about it, so I ended up leaving, and I cried more about leaving that forest than I think I had cried about breaking up with multiple boyfriends, because I didn't want to leave it. It was beautiful. But I visited it a year later, and to my complete surprise, the place had changed. When I was walking through the tree line to go enter, the path had been widened. I had done some of that, but it was much wider now. And this hummingbird just came right up to my face and just flew in front of me and just hovered for a good minute. And it felt like it was saying hi. So I walked through. Other people had come and cleaned it up. Part of that was city workers. Part of that was just other neighbors. They had seen, oh, hey, this place is beautiful, let's make it more beautiful. And the big thing, the hummingbird was particularly cool because the place was silent. I never heard any birds. Never saw any squirrels, never saw any raccoons, never saw anything except for a few insects. But when I had returned, like I said, a year later, the place was full of birds, including hummingbirds, which was amazing. So this place that I'm at right now, it feels a lot like that place. You know, it's not my forest any more than that other forest was mine. It kind of belongs to nobody. Forests belong to themselves. But the feeling that I have when I'm here, the connection, more like the sense of family, is profound. And, you know, I've come in here and cried and laughed and dreamt, and it's a beautiful place. You take care of places like this, they take care of you too. And hopefully the boars leave you alone. Yeah. Confinement's ending here next week, which means I'm going to be spending time outside of this place again. As you probably know, I've been living with my boyfriend for the last 7 weeks. It's been fantastic. And, you know, it was always kind of meant to sort of be temporary at first because it was a new relationship. So I'm going to be going back to Luxembourg City part of every week, kind of staying with my sister because I have a place there too. And bouncing back. I'm not leaving this place, or him either. So it'll be interesting being kind of far away from this, but not really far away, and watching what it does. And I hope you have a place like this too. I hope you already do, or you're able to find a place like this, some wedge of nature. And it's just a wedge. It's a wedge of a forest. Behind me is farmland, and then another forest as well. But it's all cut through with human activity. And so this place is only a tiny fraction of what it would have been or was before. But I also like to remind myself that it doesn't take a whole lot of time for a forest to spread. When you're in cities, you ever walk on the sidewalks and you see those places where the sidewalk's broken and there's, you know, what appears to be a weed, which oftentimes those are pretty amazing plants. Plantain, chamomile. In Seattle, there was a lot of chamomile in sidewalk cracks. And then the occasional place where a tree root has kind of pushed up the concrete a little bit. That's the forest coming back. That's what happens when humans don't constantly clean up, don't constantly beat back nature. Nature just kind of comes back. And, you know, it would probably only take a short space of time for the meadow behind me to start growing trees because of all of these tree seeds. And if there's no cattle to eat up the the saplings. Those saplings will grow and continue to grow, and you know, most of those would first be birch and alder, and then after that you'd start to see pines and oak, and then next thing you know, you have a forest, or the forest grows. Those are the happy things I like to think about. You know, instead of all the talk about how, you know, human industrial civilization is awful, which it is, but instead of talking about how bad that is, it's nice to remember how beautiful and how resilient nature can be if we just let it be, if we don't stop it. Yeah. So those are my thoughts for this week. Thank you so much for your support. Again, I hope I was in the camera this time. And if on my way out I get attacked by a boar, I'll try to film it. Just kidding. Hope you're well. And I will see you next week. Bye.